All right, guys, we have made it. You are here. We are here. We're all here. You are here at the B2B Hour on Auto Conversion. This is our live monthly webcast, that series that we facilitate here. It's for B2B marketing and sales professionals, business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs. If that's you, you are in the right place. Today is Wednesday, November the 10th. I am Ryan Girardi, and thank you for joining us. It's great to be here with you as always. So, our general theme here for this show and what we do is how to stay connected and engage with customers, strategic partners, and employees. Don't forget employees. So, we offer a unique product here in Auto Conversion, and to help you do these things, to be a media professional for your personal brand, for your business. And so we invite you here to learn, to network, and to grow. That's what we invite you here to do. And that's whether it's your personal brand, your business, your professional brand, your network, your online reputation, right? All these things that are important nowadays. We invite you here uh, to move the needle, I guess you could say. So our focus today is on the idea of using TikTok for your brand marketing strategy. There are ton of tactics, ton of ways to use digital media, social media, content, you name it, ton of ways to promote your brand. And TikTok, which is the most downloaded app in the world, might not always be your first choice for a B2B strategy, but it is for some brands. And you never know when it might be a good strategy for yours. So in 2020, TikTok surpassed the likes of Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Snapchat, all of those in the App Store, and Google Play downloads. And by the start of this year, 2021, TikTok had nearly 700 million active users worldwide, 100 million of which are said to be in the US, consuming combined over a billion videos a day. Now, in the US, females on TikTok outnumber males about 2 to 1, and about 41% of those users are between the ages of 16 and 24, but that demographic is going up. In fact, TikTok users reportedly spend, I apologize, I just skipped something. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Let me continue. So they reportedly spend an average of 52 minutes per day using the app, which is equivalent to Facebook, Instagram, and television. So the influence of TikTok is definitely undeniable. 30% of users in the US said they watch less TV, less streaming, and other video content since they joined TikTok. And according to a March study of this year, Kantar study, in less than 18 months, the number of US adult TikTok users grew 5.5 times. So TikTok's big stuff. It fuels the creator economy, cultivates thriving communities. But in spite of this, many brands are reluctant to embrace TikTok for their brand marketing strategy. So in a moment, I will be bringing on life coach Toni Schmidt, or Toni the Tiger, as she is known on TikTok. About 6 months ago, Toni began experimenting with TikTok for her coaching business. She's having some success. She's agreed to come on the air to talk with us about her experience with the app so far. That'll be about 15 minutes after my interview with Toni. We have Jeremiah Fox returning back. Jeremiah is an entrepreneur. He's based in New York City, and he practices jujitsu as part of his mindset strategy for wellness. Fox joins us to share his experience with the martial art and how you too might be able to apply some jujitsu in your own life. So sit back, relax. We'll be back in just a moment with Toni the Tiger. All right, look at that. We have made it. What's up, Toni? Welcome to the show.
How you doing? It's good to see you, Ryan.
Doing well. I appreciate it. I got to keep an eye on my monitors because last show, in fact, Jeremiah was on a previous show and my video didn't work at all. So, and it looked fine, but everything's checking out right now. Couldn't figure out your vignette, but you look beautiful in a vignette. So,
Thank you.
So there
Yeah,
we
a little halo.
go.
I'm not sure why that's happening, but
Well, look, we had the stage for a few minutes, and as you heard me say, or as you heard me say, Toni started using TikTok about 6 months ago. So let's start right there, Toni. You're a life coach. You've been doing, you've been in the marketing, and you recently got into life coaching, I think a year or two ago. But what gave you the itch to say, I'm going to start experimenting with TikTok? And did you go into it with your business in mind? Is that why you went into TikTok?
So, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here,
Great to
and
have you.
welcome to anybody who's watching. Thanks for being here
Everyone
with
who's
us.
watching.
Everyone who is
Everyone
watching.
who's watching.
I'm not used to the live feature and can't see anything, so that's why I said that. But yeah, I have been in social media industry, I guess you could say, for probably 12 years. I started out as a blogger and social media. Of course, Facebook was just coming out, and I decided to kind of dig into marketing and social media. And everybody said, social media is just a fad, it's going to go away. And I said, I don't think so. And so I started teaching myself everything about social media from there. I started my own business. Then I went into corporate, and I actually did work in B2B. I worked for a company that did payroll and human resources for other companies. And I worked in their marketing department for quite some time. And then I really just, I guess the pandemic really taught all of us a lot about what's important and what we want to do. And I got to a point where I said, this isn't for me. And basically, on a whim, I quit my job to launch my life coaching business. I had one client that I had worked with for like a year, very successful. And I couldn't, by working two jobs, I'm a single mom, so I had was raising my kids and two jobs, and I couldn't figure out how to launch the business in addition to those things. So I basically just burned the boats, as they say, and went into the life coaching business. And so I've always been on like kind of the cutting edge of Blab and the different audio streams that are happening. I wouldn't call myself a techie by any stretch of the imagination, but in marketing terms, I'm always interested in how people are connecting and how they're building relationships. So I quit the corporate job in April, and in July, my kids went away to camp, and their ages are 10 and 12. So they're on TikTok quite a lot. And they went away to camp for a week, and I said, I think I'm going to give this a shot. So as I know, marketing is always either time or money. Either you're buying leads or you're spending lots of time. And with Facebook, it just seems to be getting harder and harder to really connect with people and figure out the algorithms. And even when you pay them, it's still like headache after headache of trying to convert leads. So I thought, I'm going to dig into TikTok. So I went from 300 followers to 1,000 followers in just that week. And I was having so much fun doing it. My kids came back from camp and they're like, Mom, you have 1,000 followers? What's going on? And then I just started going from there. And then I had a few videos that went viral. And what amazed me the most is the engagement that I was creating relationships with these people. And it was outside of that circle. I couldn't break that circle of my family and friends, people I went to college with, people I knew from previous jobs. They're all on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I couldn't break that circle. And TikTok let me connect with all these different people throughout the world. So that's kind of how I got started.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up one of your, this one here. Did you care what order I put this in, or is this one fine?
I don't care at all.
This one is, let me look at my notes here. This one is using a popular trending sound on TikTok, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this one is. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play it. Hopefully the sound comes through. Let's see. I'm going to turn the sound on.
I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be
sound
blue,
coming through.
I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could
okay,
be
so you got about a 20
violet
second loop
sky,
here,
I could be
maybe
hurtful,
30, probably
I could
20,
be
right?
purple, I could be anything you like.
Sounds about
I could be
right.
brown,
Okay,
I
and
could
this
be
is
blue,
using
I could be
Sarah
violet sky, I
Catherine.
could
That's
be
a sound built
hurtful, I
into
could be
TikTok.
purple, I could be anything. I could be
right?
brown, I could be blue,
Okay.
I could
So
be
speak to this one.
violet
What
sky, I
inspired
could
this? How
be
did you come up
hurtful,
with
I could be
the,
purple, I
like,
could be anything
how'd you come
you
up with
like.
this
I
particular
could be
idea?
brown, I
Speak to
could
us.
be
Share that
blue,
with
I
us.
could be
Well,
violet sky, I could be
I was
hurtful, I
spending a
could
lot
be
of
purple.
time on TikTok and watching what other people were doing. And I would see this trend, I would see this time over time, people singing this and talking about their past. And it just was a trending sound. So if you go in the bottom right hand corner and you click on the sound, when you're actually, I guess it's not where you are, but when you're using it, then you start seeing all the videos of the people who have used that sound and what they're doing.
Ah,
And
okay.
then you can kind of copy those ideas, put your own spin on it. And it may or may not show up in the trending videos. Like this is such a hot trend that I'm not going to show up in the top 5. It's only like really big influencers that are showing up in the top. But people like it. People are liking this, and that's what, if I'm seeing it time after time in my news feed, that means people are liking it and it's catching people's attention. That means I should use it. So I put my spin on it, and that's what I've done with a variety of videos, and it's really helped me to get more exposure.
Now, is there a reason you have half your face cut off? Is that to fit the words? Is that a known technique to use?
Kind of, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of TikTok, is just adding your own artistic flair to things. I've always been artistic, and I just kind of, nothing that I do on TikTok is really planned.
Mm-hmm.
It's very spontaneous, and then I'll post it, and if within 24 hours to 48 hours it's not getting a lot of engagement, I switch it to only me can see it, because it looks like people aren't engaging with it. Sometimes I think something's so awesome and other people just aren't into it. Other times something I think is okay, all of a sudden it's like viral. So I kind of gauge people and then turn it off or turn it on accordingly.
Okay. I'm going to play the next one here. This one, I think you said what has been your most popular one so far. When did you publish this one?
Oh, when did I publish it? 9/25, does it say?
Okay. And yeah, you can see compared to that other one, this has 39,000 hearts, which would be like a like. You can tell I don't use TikTok. You have 3,300 comments on this.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of comments? I mean, I know people say some, there's trolls and people can say some bad things, but generally speaking, what kind of comments are you seeing?
The
Do you read them
comments,
all?
I did for this one. I did. For some of the sillier ones, maybe I don't. But if you turn the sound up just a little bit so they can hear, because I think it's important.
I wanna know,
Coming through?
have you
Mhm.
ever seen the rain?
I think I can go full screen if I do that. There we go.
Yeah.
I wanna know.
So
Are you at Ridley Park by chance?
no,
Okay.
in Downingtown.
That's Downingtown. Okay. All right.
Mhm. Yeah. So basically, I just wanted people to hear the song, because I think that has a lot to do with what people like about it.
Mhm.
So the comments just blew me away, because they were about getting sober, and we need more of this positivity and less news. One comment said, because of you, I'm going to give it another day. And then I have had a few comments since then that have said, I watch this every morning before I get out of bed. And like, it just blew me away, because normally I talk about gratitude. People just sit, it's not like the sexiest thing to talk about, People don't really care about gratitude unless you're like a personal development guru and really into it. It's not something that captures people's attention, but for some reason this video did.
Wow, and you even had somebody said they bookmarked it and watch it every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's
A couple
crazy.
people.
All right, we're going to go to your third one here, and then we'll talk about some of the impact. We have about 3 minutes left here. It's too bad I can't stage multiple at the same time. Let's see here. Bing, bing, bing. We want this one here. Now this one, what's the significance behind? Oh, this is one that's more intentionally promotional, right? You're actually, hey, my
right.
clients benefited in these ways. That's what you're sharing here, right?
Yeah, with TikTok, it's a little tricky to promote, which is probably why people like TikTok so much, is because there's not a lot of pitching to you or promotional. But you can get creative. And this was a trending sound too.
Okay. And what kind of response did you get from this? I have to go back to a different screen, I think.
It was pretty good. I've actually saved it and then done it a few times. So if you have a video that you really like or does well, you can post it again. It's
So it'd be a separate post, but the same content. Okay.
Yeah, you just give it some time and then you post it again. So this is one of the few videos that really promote my business in a way, in a very authentic way, because it's a testimonial essentially, right? And for some reason, people just kind of gravitated toward it and thought that's cool. So I try to do kind of more like this, but of course, when you're promoting yourself, it's always a little bit tricky.
And I got to say, of the 3 videos that you shared here, 2 were a bit more serious. They were, more, I guess they were just more neutral, serious, whereas the one you're dancing around, and that seemed to have really hit really related to everybody. Final question, and then we'll segue folks into our wellness mindset segment. We have Jeremiah Fox coming on, talk about his practice in jiu-jitsu. So we'll be in just a moment. But you started from ground zero around April, and you have how many followers right now on TikTok?
20,000.
And you didn't
over
buy
20,000.
You didn't buy any of those, so they all came naturally. When did they? Can you give us an idea of when they started coming in? Was it right away? Was it a certain video? Was it time?
It's been very gradual. There'll be spikes based on, like, there was a huge spike after that one video really went viral. And that video is still bringing in a lot of followers to me. And TikTok's pretty good about giving you analytics. I'm actually a creator. I'm part of the creator fund, because if you have over 1,000 followers, then you get paid technically. I think I've gotten paid $35, and I think that's before taxes. But if you have over 1,000 followers, then you can go live on TikTok, and then I go live and I answer people's questions and convert them to clients. That's probably the biggest takeaway for your listeners here today, is going live and really connecting with people that way.
Okay. So we're going to put a pin in that one. We'll use that. We'll segue into the panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Jeremiah on. Toni will sit back in the studio for a few minutes, talk about jiu-jitsu with Jeremiah, and then we'll bring Toni back on, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll start there with that conversation. Toni the Tiger, everybody. Life coach Toni Schmidt. Thank you, Toni, for coming up here and share that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. What I'm going to do is add Jeremiah to the stage and put the screen back up here. Get you going here. All right. Put your smile on, Jeremiah. Here we are. What's up, my friend?
Yeah.
Oh, you're feeling it. Look at
you. How you doing?
Nothing's stopping you. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Not today. Thanks for having me back on. Always a pleasure.
It really is. You're such a diverse personality. You got a restaurant in Brooklyn. You have a wine and liquor shop, right? Yeah. Probably in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Jeremiah was on my mobility tech and connectivity show last week, and we were talking about the COVID vaccine passport in New York City. So check out the AutoConverse podcast for that conversation. But we're here to talk about how jiu-jitsu keeps you mentally sane, not just fit, but keeps you sane. So I'm going to let you have the stage for a few minutes, and then let you do your thing, and then I'll come back on and we'll chit chat about it. Sound good?
Great. So I think most people are aware of, and I'm a big advocate of this idea that health equals wealth. You know, your bank account might be nice and fat, but if you're, you know, suffering from physical ailments because of a lack of inactivity, high blood pressure, so on and so forth, you're not living your best life necessarily. And also, you know, studies have shown, and this is pretty widely known as well, this concept of the runner's high can, you know, apply to any form of fitness that you partake in, you know, long distance running, swimming, hiking, climbing, weightlifting, whatever it is. But there's this point where you get to where your mind and your body release endorphins, and it brings a sense of calm over you. It's known to help relieve stress, which business owners, entrepreneurs, sales managers, CEOs, and the like all have to deal with on a regular basis. It helps you sleep better, which anybody in those fields too definitely needs a good night's sleep. And it usually lends itself to a certain amount of mental clarity that will help you attack the problems that you're going to face on a daily basis in any of those positions. I mean, it applies to anybody, but I think particularly for like high performing business people, this is something that is really useful. So, you know, prior to starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 6 years ago, I did all those things. I was a competitive distance runner as a kid and continued to run in my adult life. I was a distance swimmer. I studied gymnastics and lifted weights and did all these things. And I was introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 2015 when a school opened up just a few doors down from the restaurant that I was opening at the time. Now, in that year, I opened 4 businesses in a 9-month period. So life was quite chaotic. And for me, when I was first invited to start training, I just looked at it as another form of fitness. I was like, well, this would be fun. I want to try something new. It was very convenient. It was right here. What I didn't realize was all the other aspects of life and business and problem solving it was going to offer me. And I'm going to quote one of my instructors. He said this just the other day and it stuck with me. And I was like, I gotta share this on the show. He said, this is not fitness. It'll get you fit. He was referring to the idea of not going 100% all the time in the gym, like maybe here and there, where like when you go running or you go swimming, you go weightlifting, you pretty much are always like pushing yourself and going really hard. He said, it's not fitness. It'll get you fit, but we're learning efficiency here. So you don't need to go 100%. You have to push yourself to the brink every time. And that was one of the big takeaways for me when I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And for those of you that are not familiar with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was basically a Japanese martial art that was adopted and developed by a bunch of small, like very small Brazilian guys who were like fighting for their lives in the streets of like Rio and Sao Paulo. And they learned to use leverage in a way that allowed them, it afforded them their small size to be able to dominate and control someone much larger and stronger. And that applies to business people and entrepreneurs and business owners in a major way, because most of us start out pretty small and you're looking at the panorama of like, what's your competition? Who are you up against? And you can feel quite tiny. But when you learn to leverage your assets and the strengths that you do have, it offers you a certain amount of confidence that you say, okay, maybe I can take this on. Maybe this won't be as bad as it seems. And that was one of the first lessons that I learned outside of the physical aspects, like the self-defense components of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, was this idea of leverage. And it's funny because I heard people talk about leverage in, business videos. You hear like Simon Sinek talk about it and Gary Vaynerchuk. And I kind of scratched my head. I was like, I don't know what he means by leverage. And then like I learned an arm bar in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I was like, oh, that's leverage. And I started to find ways to plug it in to my professional life. And again, this was a chaotic time for me where I was opening a lot of businesses and people were coming to me for a lot of other for like business advice and things like that. And I started to plug it in, and little by little, I was like, wow, this really helps a lot. So not only was I getting that like runner's high, I was getting the mental clarity, I was sleeping better, it was alleviating stress, I was getting to understand this idea of efficiency and strategy. And if you listen to major business personalities, they will all say like it really comes down to having a strategy, having a plan. Giving a shout out to our mutual friend, Dr. Lance Knob. He's all about having a strategy and being accountable for what's happening around you. And jiu-jitsu is all about that. It's dynamic problem solving. It's constantly changing. The problem that you had 30 seconds ago is no longer a problem. Now you have a new one and you have to adjust, and you learn how to control those situations and handle those situations through technique and through strategy. And that's a major part of business ownership and entrepreneurship and sales management and all those positions is constantly new problems are arising. And as soon as you feel like you got a handle on yesterday's problem, you got 10 more on top of you. And so when you have a regular practice like that, where you go in, I mean, I'm notorious for training 6-7 days a week. It just really realigns your mindset to where those problems are not as daunting as if they would be if you weren't training. And then, along the lines of those problems, you have problems in business that arise, and they can give you kind of like a sense of panic. And most of them are monetary, or maybe they're, an HR situation or something like that. Another way Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really helps you calm down and face those problems is you go in the dojo and you're like kind of fighting for your life. Like this guy's literally trying to choke you, and you have to just stop all other thought process and really just focus on preventing this guy from choking you. And when you do, and especially when you turn the table and maybe you choke him, or maybe you get him in a submission or in a compromised position, all your problems seem so much smaller. And you come out and you smile and you walk into work and you're like, what did we have to deal with? Oh yeah, that thing. It's not such a big deal. So it kind of takes all the things that you let override you, that you really let take advantage of your, kind of captivate your mind and take control of you for brief periods of time. It helps you deal with that in a way that I haven't found in other fitness experiments and things that I've tried. And lastly, I want to point out that one thing that really comes through when you train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or an art like that, where you're sharing your body with somebody, you're loaning, your neck and your joints, and you're developing trust. The foundational elements of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are discipline, honor, and mutual benefit. And the mutual benefit really helps out when you're dealing with your business. One of my mentors, Toni Di Silvestro, he always says, entrepreneurship is lonely. You really feel like you're alone. And when you feel that way, your confidence starts to diminish, your options start to diminish. And what you learn in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that you're not alone. You could never do it alone. And it's a fallacy to think in business you're alone and that you could do it alone. So you learn to trust better. You learn to develop camaraderie with the people around you. And when you start to see that, it really helped me in my relationships, especially with my restaurant, because there's so many vendors, there's so many people, there's so many B2B companies attempting to help you or saying they're going to help you and they're not really. And it helps you kind of cut through the noise and regulate who has really got your back, who are the strategic alliances that are going to help you succeed, and then how can you help them as well. Just like, a show like this, it's all about network. It's all about creating those bonds and creating trust and helping each other and realizing that the rising tide lifts all ships. That's one of the really important foundational aspects of jiu-jitsu. One of the big takeaways that you can transfer into all other parts of your life. Again, I think specifically about high performing business people, but it can help anybody just be a better person, just really be your best self.
Man, that's awesome. I took some good notes there. Just to clarify, you started in jiu-jitsu last year, right around the time the pandemic started. You said it.
No,
right?
2015.
Okay, so you've been at it for a few years.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Okay, so are you a first or second degree at this point?
No, so the belt ranking in jiu-jitsu is slow. It's like getting a PhD. It usually takes about 10 years for you to get the black belt. I'm about halfway. I'm a purple belt right now, which is dead center. You're usually at purple belt for a long time, like years. I've been at purple belt for over 3 years now, and probably not getting promoted anytime soon. So they really make you commit. There's only 5 belts: white, blue, purple, brown, and black, unless you start when you're like 2, and you might get to coral belt or red belt if you live to be 80. But 5 belts, and it takes a solid like 10 years to get just a black belt, and then you're a black belt for like the rest of your life.
So there's not different degrees of black belt?
There is. There is. It usually, you usually get I think you get a degree maybe like every 4 or 5 years, something like that. It's a slow process. They don't dole
Okay.
out promotions quickly in jiu-jitsu.
So I've got some good notes. I would bring up some questions. What we're going to do, thank you, Jeremiah. That's beautiful. And we're going to expand on that. We're going to bring Toni on stage, and we're just going to start. We're going to start right here with some questions, and then we'll get back into, digital media marketing, TikTok, and podcasting as well. So, so thank you. That was awesome, man. I can't wait to talk about this a little bit more.
My pleasure.
All right, Toni, let's bring you on. Here we go. And this is going to be technically our audio video pros segment. And I don't have well, actually I do. Let me real quick, you guys, let me just share my screen and show people something here. Bing, bing, bing. So folks, if you go to autoconversion.net, look under the grow menu. We have free discussion groups and we have paid premium mastermind groups. So Audio Video Pros is one that you can sign up for. I should have had this open. And the whole purpose of signing up is that you're letting us know that you're interested in digital media, right? Podcasting, live streaming, digital content, that you're letting us know that you're interested in that. And then when we have the show, we send out invites to give you a chance to get up here for an interview, be on the panel, invite people, and be part of the experience. So that's Audio Video Pros. That's what we're segueing into right now. Let me take a very quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with our segment. Be right back.
Hey Dad, are you still looking for a car? Did you know that when you click on car ads, dealers pay for every click? But shouldn't you get paid? After all, you're the one clicking. That's why I use AskOtto. With AskOtto, you build rewards as you shop. Plus, AskOtto recommends exclusive offers based on your needs. You can ask questions on cars you like and still protect your personal information. You can even set your price. Who knew car shopping could be so easy and rewarding? AskOtto, fast, fun, and rewarding car shopping.
All right, AskOtto. Thank you to our sponsor, AskOtto, today. All right, Toni, the Tiger. Are you into martial arts at all, Toni? Have you ever, or are you?
I have a black belt in karate.
Aha! Sweet. How long ago did you get your black belt?
I was 30 years old. It's been a while, but when I was 9 months pregnant with my first daughter, I was doing push-ups at my baby shower.
Okay.
Nice.
But once I got the black belt, it starts to lose a little bit of its excitement.
Well, I can relate to that. So I have a Taekwondo black belt, and it took about 3 years to get. And, there's different schools of philosophy and art. And so, this is more of a family-oriented program. But it changed my life. It changed my life completely. I kick myself that I haven't gone back to get a second degree and a third degree, because the first degree is really, to me, the first degree in Taekwondo is like graduating high school. Is a good explanation. Like there's so much more to do. It sounds like jiu-jitsu isn't that way. It sounds like jiu-jitsu is like going from being a child to a teenager to an adult, and then you graduate with a black belt. So there's a different philosophy there. But Toni, coming to you, I mean, here's what I heard from Jeremiah. The physical requirements of the art, in his mind, they benefit you, they benefit Jeremiah from mental clarity and, sleeping well and just having an all-around healthy life, but also being able to apply that mental exercise, that mental muscle within your business. What's your experience? Are you able to apply your karate, your martial arts training into your profession? Are you able to do that?
I would say definitely. And I can totally relate to what Jeremiah was saying about the surprise when you realize that it's so much more than just the physical aspect of growing up. I always thought karate was just about self-defense, and the athletic part of what it was, very aggressive and everything. And instead, what I learned was focus, self-discipline, structure, all the things that I needed, especially as someone who was actually recently diagnosed with ADHD. But all of those tools really helped me to perform better and be more successful. And if you have a great teacher, they really have lots of wisdom about life and how to apply these things. Like, I mean, half of the things that I say, I feel like came from my teacher who just talked about applying. I remember the one thing is if you stiffen up, let's say there's a strike to your leg and you stiffen up, you're going to have more damage to your leg than if you relax. And that's something that we can all apply to life, to business, to everything, that it's kind of the respond instead of react, which is what I teach people in life coaching. The more that you react to things in anger, emotions, and emotional intelligence aspect of things, then, when you respond instead of react, you have a better outcome.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it in words. How you apply your physical training into your, into your work? Because I'm with you. Like, I feel like a lot of the mental acuity that's required with martial arts, applies in so many aspects of your life, not just on the fitness side. So I think that's great, and I guess I want to segue into more of the audio video stuff, because Jeremiah, you run a podcast called The Entrepreneurial Web. How's that going, by the way? You are just pumping out content every time I go to LinkedIn. It's like another video.
There's
Jeremiah.
Yeah, it's going very well. I've actually, hired a company to help me with content because I'm a busy guy, and I don't love editing video. So it was a huge relief to pass that torch on, and I just deal with the distribution mainly right now. And I think about it the same way I think about jujitsu. It's like, you got to just show up every day. Like, every day might not be your best, but you have to show up, and the accumulation, like every drop in the bucket is filling the bucket a little bit more. And that's my thoughts on social media and posting and content, is that it just, it should, I always try my best. And like Toni said, sometimes you make a video and you're like, man, this is the one. And it just kind of like crickets. And then you put up something, it's like, man, nobody's going to like this. And you're like, oh, wow, I got 50,000 views. And yeah, so you don't get to determine those things, but same approach for both.
And there's so many factors that go when you share content on social. There's so many factors that go into what gets, what sticks and what gets legs and what doesn't. There's no logic. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no consistency. There's a lot of dynamic things. Now, let's go back to Toni's strategy with TikTok. Are you a TikToker at all?
Me? Oh, of course. Yeah. And I have a similar story. I don't have quite the following she does, but my kids are jealous of the amount of followers I have as well.
You're outperforming your kids on TikTok.
Yeah. It's like a competition now. Yeah. I'm always like asking them how many followers you got, and it was similar for me. And the funny part that it was jujitsu related. So I've been on TikTok for 2 years now, and I started just doing, the main reason I got on was because I wanted to create videos for the restaurant and for the wine store, utilizing the popular music that you normally can't utilize, especially on Instagram and Facebook, where those are our main platforms for the businesses. You can't just rip a popular song in your own video and post it. They'll flag you, they'll take it down, they'll even delete your account. But if you do it through TikTok and a little TikTok emblem is floating around, there's all of a sudden no issues with it. So that
is such a great point.
Yeah.
Because you're right. When I first got into live streaming on like Facebook and YouTube a few years ago, I would always play music and to open up. And then, they'd come back and they're like, you either have to cut that out.
Yep.
Or mute it. So you just got to have, licensed music. That's a great point. I never thought of that.
So that's how I got into it. And at the time, it was me and a bunch of like 7-year-old girls. And I was like, wow, this is creepy. This is so weird.
Your wife's like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
And then, and nothing was really happening. I had a couple videos that got like 1,000 views and I was like, ooh, but most of them would sit around like 200. And, I was getting no real organic reach, no real following of any sort. And then, everything shut down and the school, our jiu-jitsu academy was closed. And I was a teacher there as well. And, a lot of, I live in the neighborhood where the school is. So I would still see, some of my former students, and they would say like, what do? We don't know what to do now. We want to keep training. And I was like, well, I don't have time to like instruct you all. So I'll just start, posting these videos. And my main, connection with them was through Instagram and Facebook. Again, these were people that I knew from my community, but I would record them and put them in TikTok because I wanted, the music, because it's fun. So it would be my wife and I. She trains as well, and she's a dancer. And so I would, grab some Brazilian music or whatever, and we do the move. And, I started to see, and I started to see in my feed at that point too. I really got the idea because all of a sudden my feed was no longer a bunch of 7-year-old girls. It was adults demonstrating fitness because gyms around the world had closed down. So this was their way of making, maintaining contact with their clients and their students and such. So I was like, okay, I can imitate that. And then I started to follow work with some of the trending music. And I watched a couple YouTube videos that gave some insights on how to grow your TikTok audience. And it worked. I started using, I never did any trending, performances. It was always just us doing jujitsu. But I would use trending music. I would do some of the edits, where the screen rolls and there's smoke and, explosions and all that stuff. I would put a little jazz in there like that. And then I started to, get 50,000 views, 70,000 views. I woke up one morning and had like an extra 1,000 followers. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you both together, but answer individually. Toni, do you think you have to TikTok every day to be effective? Is there a frequency that you found?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Okay.
That Jeremiah was talking about consistency with his podcasts. And I think whatever platform you feel really comfortable with, the consistency is really important. I have friends that are doing really well with Instagram and Reels, and they're consistent. They go live on Instagram often. They post a couple times a day, and that's pretty much what I'm doing on TikTok. They don't have to be, the best quality or perfect. That's kind of the beauty of TikTok, but I do spontaneous videos, and I probably have like 2 to 4 a day.
You are doing 2 to 4 TikToks a day, and give us an idea of the amount of time you put in to getting them produced. And well, I guess for TikTok, you produce them in the app. You're not like producing them in the studio and then uploading them. I don't know. So, but how much time are you putting into those TikToks every day to make for your strategy? I'm curious the cumulative time there.
Probably an hour or 2 a day.
Okay.
And then like sometimes I'll go, like the other day, it was a really pretty day. I went down to the stream where you saw in that one video, and I took my tripod and I filmed a whole bunch of pictures, the one of me just walking away. So I didn't know what I was going to do with that later on. And that ended up doing really well. I put words with it later on. And then another one, you feel really silly because you're kind of just sitting there like looking at the trees and kind of smiling for like a minute. But then later on, I overlay it with whatever. Maybe it's a trending, maybe it's a personal development person who does a really good speech. And I use that sound on my video. And it works. And then I think it's important I add the words to it. So either auto captioning or adding the words myself, which takes the most time. But all the videos that have trended have been with some kind of subtitles on it.
Jeremiah, I was trying to find you on TikTok. Do you have a unique handle?
Yeah, I just put it in the private chat.
Let me,
it's the same as my Instagram handle. Yeah.
So if I search for Jeremiah, was that DI?
Jeremiah Die.
Jeremiah Die. All right, here we go. We're going to bring your channel up. That's why I need to maybe get a live producer sometime. All right, let's see. You are going to be right here. Boom. Is that you in the picture?
I don't see it, but
hold on.
If it's a hairy guy with a white gi on, then yeah, that's me. Yep.
That's you?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd recognize you. You trimmed it down a little bit, huh?
I did.
So I'm familiar with your LinkedIn videos. I think you have a good, consistent look and vibe with your videos. And I immediately see that here with you too on
yeah.
TikTok.
So lately, it's been more about podcast videos. I just have had less time to record jujitsu videos. But if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see there was a point where it was like nothing but jujitsu. There's one here or there. But if you go down a little further, it's just all jujitsu. And I was doing at least one a day. I still try to post to TikTok once a day. Basically, my program right now, I try to kick out 25 pieces of content a day between LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And then I go live several times a week as well. So every now and then I one will fall off and I'm like, oh, I didn't get to post to TikTok today, or,
Let me ask you, that brings up where I wanted to kind of go with this. You just said you do about 25 pieces of content a day that you publish to somewhere and to social media. You mentioned Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Where else? Facebook?
And Twitter.
And Twitter. 25. How much time are you putting into that?
Now that I have guys doing the editing for me, I can get it down. Like if I have a solid hour to just sit out and just start firing off content in all different directions, I'll have my laptop and my phone open at the same time. If I get a solid hour blocked away where like I don't have any really real distractions, I can get a lot of damage done in that amount of time.
Yeah. Okay. So we got to feel, so you're putting about an hour a day, ideally. Toni, about an hour or two a day, specifically for TikTok. Does that time, do you spend more time than that to get content elsewhere? Or is that your...
Well, that's what I was going to ask Jeremiah, is how much of that is unique videos and how much he uses, taking his TikTok videos and putting on Instagram or LinkedIn. That's kind of what I do, is I take my most popular TikTok videos and then I will put them on Reels, and they don't do as well for me. And I've tried like covering up the TikTok symbol and different things. You can only spend so much time on some of this, but I will put the TikTok videos on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Twitter. I have not been doing.
So a good hour, probably up to 2 hours a day then total, spending to get content out there. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Engagement, response. How much time does that require of you, Jeremiah, with your... Because you're pretty good about responding. I noticed that.
Yeah, I'm a little behind right now because I'm leaving town tonight and I'm trying to squeeze a million things in before I go. But I do my best to respond, unless it's just like total spam. I respond to everything. And yes, it is time consuming. And I try to get it, within like 24, 48 hours. I like to respond to people. And, I've also, like, in addition to my own personal stuff, I'm also managing the business accounts as well. And I'm constantly getting questions and direct messages and stuff through those. So I'm all over the place trying to like field all these comments and DMs and stuff like that. But my email inboxes are impeccable. I keep them like really clean and tight, and I try to keep the DMs the same way and comments.
I just got to point this out. You're married with what, 3 children?
Yep.
3 kids. And you live in New York City. You live in Brooklyn. I know your businesses are there. You live in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. You have the jiu-jitsu studio that you started, like a fitness studio. You have the restaurant, the wine store. You said you opened 4 businesses in 9 months. Did one of them close down, I think?
One closed and one we sold. And then there's also I'm the chairman of the board of the Windsor Terrace Food Co-op, which is a nonprofit food market in Brooklyn as well.
Wow, man, that's quite a lot. I guess I have to ask you, is this sustainable? Like, it's like, yep, this is my life for the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to be doing.
I mean, there's more that I want to do. So it really comes down to delegation. I spend a lot of time at the restaurant right now because, we're no exemption to the national staffing shortage. But that's not the way it was before everything shut down. I had full staffs everywhere. And, I dealt with a lot of the back end stuff. I was, hood ornament of the businesses, but I didn't labor in them much. We're getting a little feedback through somebody's mic. Sounds like.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I think Tony, you might have flipped a switch. Yeah, I mean, running a restaurant, if you just let if you let the inmates run the prison, it's hard to have a restaurant where the owner isn't involved.
Right.
You have to really set a good culture, and you got to
Yes.
keep a pulse on it.
Yeah.
It's not just open a restaurant and move on.
Some people do it. You know those ones. We've all seen them, but yeah, it was definitely, life was much easier. And it's funny, if we ever get staff back, I'll be even more efficient with my time and my energy here, because I was forced to be, because I've also been working at the business as well as working on it this whole time. And we've experienced nothing but growth through that period. It's been good for us, but I definitely look forward to more time for other endeavors.
Yeah. I mean, look, energy, we only have so much energy. You got to recharge, you got to replenish, and it's cumulative, right? It's like, it's lifestyle, it's habits. It's all really, really crucial.
Well, another thing they say in martial arts is it's easier to move something that's in motion than something that's sitting still. I just don't sit still for very long, and it's just easier to get to the next thing. Boom, boom. They say if you want something done, give it to a busy person. That's me.
Tony, I feel like there was a question that we were supposed to come back to where we left our conversation off, and it's eluding me. Do either of you remember that? Where we were?
I feel like it had to do with lead generation on TikTok.
Oh yeah, you said, Tony, you said doing TikTok live and engaging with people there is helping you find business opportunities. Explain that a little bit for us.
So if you think of, let's say you go to an event and you're speaking at an event and you go on to the stage and you give a great talk about whatever it is you're an expert at in your industry. And then after the event, you run out and you don't talk to anybody in the audience, or you don't talk about your business or anything like that. It's kind of similar to if you're posting on any social media platform, not just TikTok, and you're not engaging with people in like a live, using live video, then it's kind of like doing the same thing. Live video is a chance for people to feel like they connect with you. It's very awkward when you're doing a live video, because TikTok is the best one for doing live videos, I think, because you can see their names. But basically it gives you a chance to really interact with them and for them to feel like they're getting to know you and be able to ask you questions in a different kind of way. It's more personal.
I think that's a great point. Bring it back here. I think that's a great point, is engagement. Something I personally struggle with, you guys. I'll share this with you and the audiences. And Jeremiah, you're a huge content producer, so I'm kind of impressed. But I feel like producing the content is the most important. Then getting it out there is second most important. And then engaging with people, that takes time too. And so between those three, I find I don't feel like I have the time to go and consume other content that's on social media, I should say. When I open, and I only really use LinkedIn at this point, and it's like I'll scroll through feeds and notifications. I'm like, man, I could be here 2 or 3 hours, and I'm not going to do that. But that said, I listen to 2 or 3 hours worth of podcasts every day. But I'm doing yoga or I'm driving, so it's not interfering with time. I'm able to do that. But yeah, you got to put in the time to build. It's all about relationships. That's why we do this. You got to put in the time. So yeah, producing content is a huge commitment. I hope everybody's seeing that. This is such a huge commitment to make content. But it can't be the only thing you do as well. You gotta keep your mind sane. You got to keep your energy, and you got to go bring in business as well.
And Toni, I would say, can I say one more final thing?
Yeah, please.
Press the damn button. It's uncomfortable. People think that it's so comfortable for me all the time. And sometimes I talk about personal things because I'm a life coach, and I talk about some things that I've been through with sobriety and everything. And it's uncomfortable every time. So as I tell my clients in life coaching, life is uncomfortable. And if you get in your thoughts and your feelings too much, then you're not going to be successful. So it's okay that it's uncomfortable and that you feel like an idiot. Just do it. Just press the damn button.
So, all right, be real here. When you're just having a day, I mean, come on, there's days you don't want to be on camera. You're just like, I don't really want to. You have those days, right?
Nah.
You don't have
No.
those days?
No, I just do it so much now. It's just like,
it's just natural. You're
Yeah.
you're really in sync with that. I mean, I don't know. I tend to be a private person.
yeah, not me.
And-
I live in New York, man. Everything is public. Like, you raise your kids publicly and everything. Yeah, I mean, when somebody's like, "Hey, you want to go live?" I'm just like, it doesn't matter what's going on. I'm like, oh, it's funny because it's like a workout to me. Like, I get done, I just get in the zone. I turn everything off. I unplug the landline. I mute my phone, my email, everything, and I'm just here right now. And I come out and I'm like, "Woo, that was exhilarating."
I love that you said that, because you do. My phone's on D&D, my computer's on D&D. Like, the world, I shut the world out. I'm in the car business, and a lot of times, even on a show, like with car dealers, I'll have dealers say, yeah, I can be there, but I might have to step out for a deal,
Yeah.
or I remember tuning into a live show once. It was two hosts, and they're both on camera, and the one guy is the co-host is talking to the audience, and the other co-host is sitting there on his phone. And then when he turned to him, he was like pretending like, oh, I'm live on the air. It seemed really inauthentic.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
I didn't think that was
It's no
real.
bueno. It's no good.
Well, hey, this is great stuff. We could kick a dead horse for hours, but I think mission accomplished. Glad you two got to meet each other, and connect and engage and pick each other's brains. Jeremiah, maybe you want Toni on your show sometime.
Sure, that'd be great.
Glad you guys got to meet. But thank you both for taking the time to be here, because as you can see, folks, we're all hella busy, but we come here and to do this and be with each other and to be with you. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, Jeremiah, what's the name of your podcast?
The Entrepreneurial Web. It's on talkradio.nyc. If you just go to the website, there's probably about 15 shows. Mine's on there. And then if you follow me on any social media platform, that's 90% of my posting is about that. And then occasionally my youngest daughter, my older two, they get no engagement.
Great.
All right,
And
guys.
you can follow my Toni the Tiger on all the platforms. I have a podcast too that I just started. So
Nice.
find me
Awesome.
there.
Is it called Toni the Tiger?
It is.
No
Nice.
kidding. All right. We'll have to have
Like
you
it.
back on in a few months to talk about your podcast strategy.
Sounds great.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. So that was Jeremiah Fox, as you saw, and Toni Schmidt, Toni the Tiger on TikTok, as she is known. And that was our panel discussion as part of the Audio Video Pros discussion group. And what I'm going to do is just re-explain that real quick as we wind things down. So if you go to autoconversion.net and you look under the Grow menu, what you'll see is all the different mastermind groups that we have. Now, if you're in automotive, if you're on the B2B side or the retail side of automotive, there's actually, I think, 5 different discussion groups you can sign up for. You don't need to sign up for more than one, because here's the deal. Once you're registered with one, you'll start getting emails. And every email you get is a link to update your preferences. And you can add yourself and remove yourself from any of the groups that we offer. Why would you want to be in a group? Because it'll give you a chance to know when we're going to have a show, when we're going to have that discussion group on what show. Because as you know, we run multiple shows here, as well as with our affiliate partners as well. So really just register for one of those programs. It's free, and you'll start getting the information, and you can add or remove yourself, and you'll start getting those invites to be up here and participate in these panels. Why would you want to do that? Well, as you see, everybody, we all need to learn, right? It's the best way to get ahead, best way to stay young. You want to constantly be learning new information. Also want to be networking, right? I'm preaching to the choir here, right? We all need networking. That's what makes businesses hum. That's what gets the humming going, is those relationships. So you're able to come up here and meet people like Toni and Jeremiah were just able to do. You're able to meet people just by watching as well. And then we have these mastermind programs, these Grow programs. And that's where you start making more of a commitment, showing up regularly for roundtables and mastermind groups. Some of these are paid, some of these are premium. So check out the site, get yourself registered either for Audio Video Pros or down here for B2B Marketing Pros. And that way we know what you're interested in. Also, look for our unlisted influencers group on LinkedIn. That's where we make announcements about upcoming shows so that you have a chance to get tuned in. That being said, we are done for the day. And I am Ryan Girardi. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're here on the live or watching the recorded. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. I forgot to mention you can text the keyword auto conversion to 855-766-7585. And that'll get you text messages from us as well. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll be back for our last show of the year, December 8th, I think it is. So we'll see you in about a month. Take care, everyone.